Today, I made $5,160 trading NDX 0DTE options. And for reference, the first car I ever bought was a 1993 Mercedes 300E, and it cost $4,000. So today in one day, I paid for my first 16-year-old car that I bought when I was 16, all in one day. I've been day trading full-time for nearly 6 years now, and the ability to catch a setup like this was something that has come with a lot of practice, a lot of trial and error, a lot of losing money initially to get to this spot. But I wanted to break down the setup for you guys and show you that with enough practice and understanding what you're looking for and building a system and understanding when the market is just lining up and screaming at you to take it, you execute and you profit accordingly. So to show real quick, here is the TradeZella. $4,000 on 3 contracts right here. And then as well, I traded a couple more, $1,000 right here for a grand total of $5,016. This chart looks all messed up because it's the NDX option chart. But you can see I literally sniped basically the bottom right here. And then as we finally got to push higher, yes, I missed out on like 20 something thousand dollars, but you have to be a psycho to hold 0DT all the way to the end of the day. I'm not doing that. So basically, that's the proof right there. But let's break down the setup itself and dive into it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here on the corner. Pull up the window, pull up Thinkorswim. And let's dive into the setup. Okay. Sorry. There we go. So what do we see today? Well, there's a few reasons why I took the setup, and it really came down to the amount of confluences there were. And when I see a setup in the market that has at least 3 confluences, it has so much strength to basically just send it. Like I'm like, I have to take this basically. Like when you learn a setup and you see a bunch of confluences that line up with it, it is doing a disservice not to put size towards it and go for it. Even if it potentially doesn't work, it more than likely would work as long as the setup's good enough and you understand it. But basically, that's the idea behind this. I've learned this from really big guys such as Lance Brightstein, S&B Capital people. Like I used to watch so many S&B Capital videos before bed when I was in my early years of developing. They would always say, when you see a setup that you know you have edge in, like it's like getting pocket aces. You need to put risk on. So that's what I did today. The setup was basically I caught this low right here. And I sold it all the way here into my level of 584. So caught over 100 points, 150 points on NQ, but I used NDX options as the instrument to extract a lot of that. So where did this level come from? 23,426. Well, coming into the open today, let's pull up this hourly chart. I do use a lot of levels, so I apologize. You're just going to have to deal with it. But basically, what I'm looking at over here, I don't know if you guys can fully see this because... am I in the way? No, I'm not in the way. Beautiful. Okay. So when I look for levels, I look for multiple touch points of them. On the hourly chart here, we can see this 422 level. It has multiple areas where it has been tested in holding. Here it's resistance. Here, over here was support. Turns into support again, overshoot. It's clearly a level that has so much strength. So eventually, once we broke down here and came back up and reclaimed it and started to get above here, I was focused on this today because I'm like, all right, this once a level, pretty much always a level. That is my whole idea behind it. So coming into the open, I wanted to see us kind of come down into here and test this, and either have some sort of overshoot and reclaim or just a test and a bounce and a hold. So this is the hourly chart. This is where that level initially comes from. So that's the first level of, I don't want to say confluence, yeah, because that's the first thing I'm looking for, okay? So next thing I have right here is I use near-term volume point of control. Near-term volume point of control is basically where there's an accumulation of volume being done at a certain price. Here specifically, this shifts all the time. It's basically this big red line. This morning, this was actually a little bit lower. It was down here right at 428. It shifted up as volume has started to kind of climb up and move based on this 15-minute, 5-day chart. So it's only working with 5 days, 15 minutes, but what I do love about this near-term volume point of control is ultimately it does really have a lot of validity when we are above it and kind of come back to retest it at some point. So this morning it was a little bit lower. It did shift up, but basically it was right where this 422 level is. So I was like, oh, that's Confluence. That's two things. If I can get a test of there, that's great. The third thing I was looking for, and I noticed, was a sweep of Asia lows. So when we have the market trading overnight, basically price wants to kind of magnet towards Asia highs or Asia lows. It doesn't always do this, but when it does, and we kind of sweep and take out the low from Asia and then fail to go lower and then reclaim, it's usually what's like called like a spring setup or like a failed attempt to go lower or whatever you want to call it. In this case, that's exactly what we had. We swept this low from Asia and price goes below it and then basically comes back up and reclaims it. So that was 3 areas of Confluence I had, literally 3. And I was like, okay, if we can come down into here and do this and put some sort of bottoming signal, such as this 5-minute hammer where it overshoots, I want to be long. I want to be long because this is going to go from here all the way probably up to my level of 584 at a minimum. It ended up going all the way up towards almost 700. It went up towards 700. Again, I can't hold 0 GTEs at the end of the day like that. That would be psycho. And even holding it here into the midday, that took a lot for me to do. That was really tough sitting through this consolidation, but I really did trust the setup ultimately. So as price eventually dumps down into here, we do get an initial test. We then get one more push down. This reclaim right here, when price started to reclaim this, you can probably see it better on like a maybe like a 1-minute chart. As price starts to reclaim this right here, we see there's a ugly ass inverted hammer and then a reclaim and then another hammer bar going higher. This is the signal to go long because this is a sweep of this low, a reclaim of this level. And again, I have Confluence, Asia lows, near-term volume point of control, and the key level itself. So for me, this is A+, A+, A+. And what I've learned from nearly 6 years of intraday trading is when you have so many Confluences in an area, you have to attempt to trade. Like it's like you have to. So in this case, I knew it was very high probability. So I wanted to utilize something that was going to pay me very, very well in order to do that. I went with NDX options. NDX is like SPX. It's the NASDAQ version. That's basically what it is. It's the cash index for the NASDAQ. Those options move very fast. They're very volatile. Definitely, there's a lot of risk involved with them. I put about $2,200, I think, into this trade overall. That ended up netting me over $5,000 in profit, $5,100 in profit. So I made over 200% total on this play. And ultimately, it worked out very, very well. But the whole point of this is when you see something like this, I have 6 years of experience now. So I can literally spot this and be like, okay, I have to take this. It's not always like the stars don't always align like this, but the whole point is like when you do see something you've been studying and you know, and I have all these Confluence areas here, and then I see an entry model right here as well, I have to take the setup. It's like it's screaming at me, I have to take it. So ended up going long, like I said, sat through all of this, all the way back up into the highs here of 580s. Yes, it ended up keep going, but I sold it here on this push into the highs. And overall, it ended up being an awesome trade. So I'm really grateful for it. I'm grateful for sticking with day trading for so many years to be able to finally identify setups like this and utilize options in a great way. Like options can be definitely very, very tricky and very, very tough. But when you know you have a setup that has edge and you know how to utilize an instrument such as options in order to amplify the risk reward, that is what you do. So overall, I'm really happy with how this panned out and how it worked out. And it was an awesome trade. Again, I've been day trading now for literally almost 6 years. It's going on 6 years in October, and finding setups like this and doing this isn't something that happened overnight. I've practiced. I've lost so much money trying to learn how to do this, but if you stick with it, you can literally spot these type of setups and do the same thing, but it just takes practice and time. So I hope this helps. I hope breaking down that setup like that helps. I hope understanding some of those Confluence points helps from a technical point of view. If you're interested in coaching, strong trading, we do offer group coaching and one-on-one coaching. Check us out. We have a link to the Discord, which we do our group coaching sessions. We do a group coaching session once a week. It's on Mondays. They're awesome. We go over tons of topics, everything from technicals to psychology to all that type of stuff. If you want more of a catered approach, like individualistic for you specifically, that would be the one-on-one coaching program. You can check out strongtrading.com to learn more about that. I'll put both the links down in the description below to learn more about both of our coaching programs. But that's what I wanted to go over for today. So I hope this video helps. I hope you guys are continuing to push on in your journey, and it gets better. You just got to keep going. Peace out.